And welcome aboard here, Four Quarters Online presentation of Maclay Marauder football today on the road down the south side here at historic Bragg Stadium here on the campus of Florida A&M University. Of course, the Baby Rattlers getting ready to kick us off here in the orange and white uniforms. Maclay in all white here tonight. This is a district contest here in Class 1A. So, of course, the winner here tonight will be in the driver's seat with the game versus NFC on the horizon. So just a three-team district here in 1A in the Big Bend region. Of course, with no St. John Paul II here. So kickoff going Isaiah Butler. It's going to be picked up at the 20-yard line by the Marauders. Blake Brandon going to go to the far side, cuts inside into the 40, and gets on out about the 45. So a solid return here for the Marauders to start things off here in quarter number one with their first offensive possession. So, of course, McClay Marauders, as you can see here on, or you saw on the pregame, McClay coming in with a 4-0 record. Undefeated campaign so far. And on the flip side, DRS looking for their first victory of the season. But, of course, once you get into district play, you still have the old school automatic district bid gets you in. So, in theory, here in this classification, only need 2 victories to get you in. Look over to the sideline is Bo Bashir, the junior quarterback, out of the shotgun, 4 wide receiver set. Sidecar right of him looks to be Tucker Popple. This is going to be the standard fare here for the Marauders. Excuse me, it's a handoff to the freshman. Anthony White coming here near side over midfield, inside the 40, breaks a couple tackles, and is dropped right about the 31-yard line. But a powerful rush by Anthony White, the freshman tailback, and a huge chunk play for McClay to start things off. Of course, a high-octane offense averaging north of 30 points per game. Of course, coming off a big comeback win a couple weeks ago versus Valwood, their rival down from South Georgia. So feeling a little bit, but turnovers was the issue in that first half versus Valwood. Handoff once again to White. He's going to go to the right-hand side. It's another gash of about 15 yards, and he gets inside the red zone here for the Marauders. And early action going McClay's way here at Bragg. So, of course, Coach Sloan here for the McClay Marauders in his first season, still undefeated. Trying to get forward to lucky number 5. Looked over to the left here in the slot. Here's Bashir's to his fellow junior Richardson. Inside the 10, he dives forward to the area of the first down, but it looks like he's going to be a couple yards short at about the 7. Maybe 1, maybe 2 yards short here as we get the down marker up back towards the line of scrimmage. So to be second and very short here. Couple big chunk plays from McClay after the nice kickoff return. Hasn't been a goal-to-go situation. Motion coming from Richardson out of the slot. Dump off to him on the little sweep out. Tries to get the corner. He's going to be scooped back. Nice tackle over here on the near side. It was a tandem of Trustin Walker and Malik Webb, the senior and junior respectively here for DRS. Of course, DRS coming off a game against Wakulla down in Crawfordville. One-sided effort that went the way of the War Eagles. But an opportunistic score on special teams made it a little more interesting down the stretch. So if DRS can create some turnovers, potentially like Valwood had against McClay in that first half not too long ago, then potentially an opportunity for what a lot of people would say would be a massive upset if DRS could get the victory here tonight. So rush down towards the left side. It's going to be Anthony White. A nice pickup there. Gets to about the 2-yard line. Should set up second down and goal to go here for the Marauders. Of course, last week had the bye week, able to rest up for the district game, but it was 2 weeks ago on the 19th that they played Valwood north of the border. That was by far their biggest test of the season thus far. They're going to go 4 wide receivers once again. White sidecar left out of the shotgun here for Brandon. And it's going to be a read option, and there's a turnover. Football's on the ground. DRS picks it up. Jaden Striggs, midfield, 40, 30. Only Popple can catch him. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. And DRS on the board first. It's about a 94-yard fumble recovery touchdown. And similar to the non-offensive touchdown last week, DRS has one on the board and an early lead against the McClay Marauders. What a turn of events. McClay on the doorstep, gives up the football. It was a little RPO, quarterback, running back. Football hits the ground. All of a sudden, DRS, an enormous swing of momentum, has the Baby Rattlers with the lead. Offense coming out on the field, going for 2. Zamar Neely-Johnson, the athletic running back, goes in kind of the slot back position, and here's David Bowen, just an 8th grader here in the quarterback position. It's going to be a bootleg to the right. Bowen looking for some options and nowhere to go. He runs out of real estate, does the youngster, and it'll be a failed conversion. But Baby Rattlers keep it at 6-0. Of course, after the fumble recovery touchdown. And a little bit of a wild story brewing here early. This would send shockwaves through the district as NFC checking in on this one. They're also in action tonight. I believe they're on the road up on the north side. So we have our smaller classification teams here in the Big Bend. One of our 9 Tallahassee teams. Of course, usually we have 10, but no St. John Paul II program this year. They would have been in this district. Of course, would have made it a 4-team district, and that's why we are sitting on just the 3 here. So just over 3 minutes to go. FAMU DRS up by a scoreline of 6-0 after the 94-yard fumble recovery touchdown. So DRS here to kick off once again. And it's going to be a squib kick on the ground. Rolling over here for Isaiah Butler. And trouble handling the football once again down around the 25, 26-yard line. This time is Brandon falling on top of it. Has the Baby Rattlers spirits high over here on this near sideline. And that's what kind of momentum you need if you're going to try to pull off the upset. And, of course, turnovers a couple weeks ago, as stated, versus the Valiants was one of the big-time issues. Had them trying to play hero ball late in the second half to try to get back in this one. I think McClay's missing a player. Yeah, they only had 10 on the field. Now wide receiver coming late, get you into their standard 4 wide. Play clock running down here. They're able to get it off. Brandon back to the freshman. Creasing through that left-hand side, bounces off a would-be tackle, then has some open real estate over midfield, inside the 40, inside the 30s, driven out of bounds, but a flag down about the 33-yard line. And typically a flag out there is going to be in the area of holding. So this one may be coming back. And it is holding on the Marauders. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. So they'll have to walk this thing all the way back 10, 20, 30, 40-plus yards. The difference in field position with that penalty. So once again, 10 yards from the spot. So they'll probably be somewhere around the 22, 23. There we go, 23-yard line from over on that left hash, where McClay will look to start things off here as we replay first down. Ball on the left half of this here near side. McClay going right to left in this opening quarter. Little shovel pass here to Brannon on the sweep over the 30. And he's pushed out of bounds with a surging DRS defense. So a solid pickup on that first play there. It gets out to right around the 33. So they bring Popple in as kind of a slot back to the left. So 3 standard wide receivers. He'll stay in to block. It's going to be a read option. Bashir's going to keep it out to the right over the 40, over the 45, and gets dropped about the 47-yard line on the McClay side of the field. But it will be enough to move the chains there for the Marauders. Set him up with a new set of downs just on top of the FAMU logo. Of course, have a big game tomorrow. Does FAM starting into conference play tomorrow with SWAC competition. Rush up the middle, right down Main Street, inside the 30. White now weaving through the secondaries. He gets to the third level of the defense, and he's dropped about the 15-yard line. Monster pickup, 10, 20, 30, about 40 yards on the rush for the freshman. Monster pickup there for the Marauders, looking for an answer. But this is similar to how the first drive went. And then when they got in the money zone, we do have a little sprinkle going on. The turf is definitely wet. The football will definitely be wet. As this one, once again, a little shovel pass here, or a little touch pass, I should say, with Popple on the sweep. It's going to be enough for the first down inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. It'll be a first down and goal for the Marauders. So we have a substitution here. White's going to take a seat for McClay. It's going to bring in Drew Lemondola, number 1. Of course, typically get the kicker. Interesting assignment here is Lemondola might be moonlighting as the backup running back here, and it gives a give to Lemondola. He's going to go off the right side. 1 or 2 yards gained on the play there to set up a second down and goal. Of course, Wyatt Long does the majority of the kicking duties, the senior, but, you know, when your backup kicker isn't getting an opportunity to kick extra points and field goals, you know, why not have him play a little tailback, as you would see at the pro or college level, I guess. Give Lemondola on the read option. FAMU DRS defense does a really good job of standing that one up. Couple bodies in the middle there. It's going to be big 54 Alex Howard as well as Malik Webb, the junior strong safety. And so McClay will be backed up to the 4-yard line. And Coach Wise and the Baby Rattlers feeling it a little bit here. The defense has been stout inside the 6-yard line with their second opportunity. Now 3rd down and goal. Looking to go with the quick snap, and was there movement or was this just jump from the defense? And it's going to be offside on the Baby Rattlers. Got a little too excited, so they go half the distance to the goal. So that'll help the Marauders here on the conversion. So instead of a 4 to go, it's a 2 to go. They're going to keep the same formation. Lemondola, it's going to be a slot back. Popple to the right. 3 standard wide receivers. Watch out for Richardson in the slot on that far side. Big number 14. He's the tall junior target. You've also got Ben Thompson, the senior here near side, and Blake Brannon over on the far side, number 2. It's going to be a rush up the middle. Lemondola is in for the touchdown. And for the meantime, that will even up the score with just under 5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter of action. So a 2-yard rushing touchdown by Drew Lemondola will bring on the extra point attempt here from Wyatt Long. Potentially an all special teams scoring effort down here on this side of the field. As we have a little hold up with the ball spot and everything. It looks like there's a late substitution here. Equipment issue. We'll have substitution. We'll bring on 23 Khalil Beverly. A little swap out. And another late substitution here for DRS. Looks like another equipment issue. We have the referee staff up here. They're giving us some great intel from what's going down on the field. Long with the right-footed rocket. Wanted to hit that one as hard as possible. And that'll give McClay their first lead of the ball game. 7-6 here, just under 5 minutes to go from Bragg Stadium. So maybe an unforeseen circumstance here for the visitors. Baby Rattlers, of course, had the one score last week with the recovery touchdown. A little bit of a tough sledding here for the rebuild season of FAMU DRS, but good to see some consistency in the coaching staff as Coach Wise coming back for his second season, which has been part of the issue. A lot of turnover down at DRS the last 7-8 years or so. Hard to build a program when the old chessboard is moving. Hard to calculate what we need next, but good to see Coach Wise back in the picture again here for DRS. Nice blast by McClay. As a rocket there from Lamandola reaches the end zone, and a little bit of extracurricular there down on the field. To be expected in a district contest. Of course, going back for FAMU DRS. Started this season versus Abbeville Christian Academy from Alabama. It was a 44-6 loss, and then hosted Cottondale. Put 16 on the board, but ended up dropping to the Hornets, who have been on fire offensively. Cottondale involved in a absolute Madden game a couple weeks ago versus Freeport. Final score 71-60 out in the Panhandle. A second quarter where 60 points were scored, 30 by each team. Then third game of the season, DRS dropped 35-0 to Franklin County. And then, of course, last week to Wakulla, 48-6. So DRS for the first time, truthfully, on offense. High snap is going to be a give. Trying to round the corner, coming near side is Neely Johnson. And it's going to be strung out really well by the McClay defense. Abram Wildrick, the senior defensive end, as well as Tucker Popple getting in the mix for the Marauders. Great pursuit to the edges, and it's a monster loss of about 7. Unable to hit the corner, coming near side, and we have Neely Johnson helmet getting removed on the play, so of course he'll have to sit out, but it looks like they're going to check him just to make sure he gets some medical clear, which I always appreciate the player safety initiative going on here, and it'll give an opportunity for the 8th grader Bowen to head back over to the sideline to get the call here. So Bowen wearing number 13 in the middle. They have a little max protect look going. 3 wide receivers to the near hash. High snap. He's able to handle it. Pressure instantly from McClay. He's got nowhere to go. 3 Marauders on top of him in the end zone. He tries to fling it out, and it's going to be out of play and will be a safety, I believe, and is. But absolute relentless pressure from McClay, able to get 2 more on the board, so a field goal advantage, 9-6, as McClay's defense with a score here in the later stages of this opening quarter. So granted, not how you typically get it, but points are points, regardless of the way they're coming around, and so McClay will take them. here in the Big House. Of course, second biggest stadium, really west of Jacksonville. Nothing really in between as long as we're north of Orlando. Until we get out in probably the Pensacola area with UWF. Of course, Ken Riley Field recently turfed up here in the late 2010s. Of course, you got the new stadium renovations the last couple years with the rebuild and the press box, and, you know, long overdue here for a proud university. Great to see the facilities on the up and up. And you almost got a South Beach kind of orange going on in the turf as this hot Florida sun has baked it into the ground here amongst the hills of Florida A&M University. So punt away here from the 25. Nice punt. Gets all the way back to the McClay 25. Brandon's going to scoop it up, going to go to the far side. 40, 50 over midfield. And, yeah, it's going to be a flag on the play there. It looks like they got him up by the helmet as he's crossing midfield. Takes a tumble to the turf here. Penalty flag on the ground. But it looks like he was able to pop back up. So, of course, Brandon will have to take a seat here as a key offensive player who usually is in the offense. So, mandatory sit down. They'll check him out. You know, similar to what we had here for Neely Johnson. Neely Johnson, by the way, number 7 for DRS over here in the near sideline, still getting checked out. So, we'll try to keep you updated on number 7 of DRS. So, a couple players getting some knocks here in the early going of the matchup. As McClay to take over on offense, 15-yard penalty there for the personal foul. So they'll go with that 3 wide receiver look again. It's going to be White back in the backfield. Slot back left is Popple. Quarterback keeper all the way for Bashirs. He's got his running backs to block. Gets the edge inside the 35. And inside the 25. And he's tumbled down here inside the near sideline at about 23, where they'll have the chains moved once again. So the offense, little resistance outside of the 8-yard line. Big chunk plays for McClay has been the story. But, of course, DRS keeping it interesting with that 94-yard fumble recovery touchdown by Darrell Hewitt early in that first quarter. Keeps us at a field goal margin. So going to flip Popple back over to the right, but then he motions over to the left. White sidecar right to Bashirs, give to him up the middle. And tossed back there by Alex Howard, the 6'3" defensive tackle. One of a couple sizable players on that DRS defense. We've also got 6'2" Tilford, 6'1" Rogers. A couple big boys in orange getting after it. And you like to see a team with some fight here. Bootleg for Bashirs over the top, looking for Popple, incomplete. We'll bring up 3rd down. Solid coverage there by Darrell Hewitt, the man with the fumble recovery touchdown. But getting back to it, you love to see DRS with the fight here. Still looking for that first victory. Been a tough go for them. Obviously, you look around the city, they've probably got the smallest roster just from a numbers standpoint here throughout the city. McClay, probably the next biggest school from DRS, but having a full JV program as well. And that's why you see some of the youngsters, a handful of 8th graders on this team for the K-12 school. An opportunity for them to get some experience early. Swung on out to White. Nice juke inside. Slides inside the 15 and enough to move the chains. Once again, it's But flag on the play here once again on the McClay offense. Blocking the back. Going to move this one back. So, of course, would have had the first down outside the 10-yard line. As the DRS cheer squad trying to get the crowd fired up here, keep some excitement, keep some energy in the stadium. It's been a somber, rainy day all day today. First time in, I believe, just about a month since we've gotten rain in the capital city. I think it was the first weekend of September since we had some rain. So basically a full 4 weeks. You start to see all the grass patches around town turning brown, unlike the beautiful field turf we have there. Oh, how about the shot of campus there? Okay. Of course, our enthusiastic cameraman, Cody Young, doing a fantastic job tonight. Of course, Andrew Jupe, Cody Young, Seth Carroll on the broadcast here tonight, bringing you the action here from Bragg Stadium. The proud Coliseum of football here on the highest of Tallahassee's 7 hills is the FAMU campus. Of course, just down the road at FSU, they're playing on a Friday night. I don't know what they're doing up there in Virginia tonight. I thought Fridays was for high school ball, but conversation for another day. 4 wide receiver set for McClay. White's going to be sidecar right. They're going to split Popple out here in the slot. He's going to be on the left-hand side. Watch for him. He's got a lot of real estate over on this left-hand side. They're going to send him vertical. They're going to go for Popple. Double coverage. Fingertip attempt. Can't rein it in. But some solid coverage by DRS in the secondary. Jaden Triggs, number 5, as well as Malik Webb, number 11, in the area for Popple. But Popple's been an absolute playmaker for McClay all season long, running the ball, catching the ball, doing damage. He's kind of I would say kind of a Christian McCaffrey type, but he doesn't do as much rushing duties, but more in the short receiving game. But they utilize him like a running back with some catching skills, less of a pure wide receiver. Bashir stepping up, wants to go deep. It's a 4th down conversion. Richardson outside the 20, enough for the first down. So Coach Sloan rolls the dice. Or excuse me, past the original line of scrimmage is not a first down. That's my mistake. My mistake. They got past the original line of scrimmage, but not the first down, so it will be a turnover. Side marker said 4th. So DRS football turnover on downs. So a strange game continues to provide storylines here as McClay now turned it over twice, once in the more traditional sense, and then, of course, a turnover on downs here on the, what would be, I guess, the north-ish side of the stadium. So DRS in the orange unis. A late arriving player to the formation here gets in position. So DRS is going to go 4 wide. They'll leave Neely Johnson here to hang out, kind of that slot back tight end slot. So good to see Neely Johnson back up, number 7. High snap, fielded well by the youngster. Thrown out to the perimeter, almost picked off by Richardson. Would have been a walk-in touchdown, but it'll fall incomplete and bring up a 2nd down and 10 to go for the Rattlers. Good job there by Bowen, able to handle that snap, though. That was a tricky one. Almost rocketed into the end zone and could have been another safety. And you can see how everybody from McClay in the secondary is really pinning their ears back, looking to go after. They know the pressure's getting home. Will Jurek, Arizo, and the rest of the line here have been doing fantastic about getting pressure here on Bowen. And so they know the passes are going to be short. So I think the secondary is basically going to be jumping every single route that DRS offers here. A little jet sweep coming through. Try to find a crease here was Hewitt. And he'll get back. It looks almost to the original line of scrimmage. And it looks like they will. Back at the 18-yard line, so it'll be a 3rd down and 10 to go for the Rattlers. And they had Butler doing the quarterback duties there, number 3. So we'll see if they're making a little bit of switch up. We did see Butler last year getting involved in some quarterback play. So Coach Wise trying to switch things up here, see if he can't generate a little magic as his defense has put him in a great position here. Swung over the middle, looking to that left-hand side. I believe it was Terrell Gear, the intended receiver, but that one will fall incomplete and bring up a 3rd down and long here for the Rattlers. "39 seconds to go here in the first quarter. A little bit of a stop-and-start affair. I think kind of the gloom and doom of the cloudy, overcast, sprinkly, rainy weather day today has manifested itself with the football game. Couple drops, couple slips of the hands in the football, and then on the turf. As the 4th down, we'll look to punt this one away. So it was my mistake. It was not a 3rd down conversion. It was a 4th. So it takes a couple of McClay Marauder bounces. Neely Johnson diving on top of it, but McClay will take over. Fantastic field position here at the 33-yard line, it looks like. Or excuse me, the 36 on the other side of that 35. So while we have an opportunity as they're shifting things away, see if we can't get some area scores going around the bend. Of course, our scoreboard looking in the 4 quarters online coverage area between Lake City and Panama City. But we're getting ready to get going here for Bashir, so we'll bring up the old scoreboard, try to keep you updated throughout. And we had a timeout by DRS, so perfect. Thanks, Coach Waz. Give us opportunity to go through these scores. No score getting reported. The big rivalry game, Leon and Lincoln, 0-0. Not many scores at all being reported here. Oh, big district contest. Columbia out at St. Augustine. St. Augustine leads 14-7. That is number 1 in the state and number 5 in the state, according to the FHSA rankings. A lot of the central time zones, nobody's scoring there. And so very minimal updates as we look at the scoreboard from around the area, thanks to our buddies from ScoreStream. So it looks like we might have to go the alternative route. Of course, our buddies over at the Wakulla Sun always do a good job on social media updating the Wakulla football games. Of course, Wakulla taking on Swanee out in Live Oak. And so they had a little bit of a, it looks like they did a 7:30 start. So they just kicked off out there in Live Oak. Look over to the right. Here's Bashir's in the slot looking for his favorite target, Richardson, but it'll be just outside of his reach. And so bring up a 2nd down for the Marauders. As they look to get some things reorganized here. As I'm sure McClay a little disappointed with the early performance thus far. But DRS making them earn it here. Let teams go back on you. Start to get some momentum. Here comes some pressure. Tackle for a loss. Looks like a sack for Nelson. The senior for DRS coming in and dropping Bashir's in the backfield. So it'll be a almost a 6-yard loss here. Bring up 3rd down and long now for McClay. As the clock winds down, and that will do it all here for the end of the first quarter of action. So little starty, stoppy, weird, rough-looking game here so far early. The Marauders lead 9-6 in the early going of this one. We're going to take a quick jump out and come right back with quarter number 2.
Oh, hey! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah! Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah.
Nelson with the drop there for DRS. He's made a couple good tackles, and he's making an impact here. DRS playing very good here defensively. Flip on out here to Richardson, able to make a slot, weaving through traffic, trying to get to the end zone, and looks like he's able to make it in. And official ruling is touchdown, so McClay cashes it in and makes this one a 2-score game here. So 15-6, early going second quarter. So we had DRS playing some good bend don't break defense, but Richardson gashes them there from about 20 yards out, and he'll break it open here to a 2-score lead. Extra point here for Long is up and is good, as Long is still perfect on the season. Has not missed a kick of any kind. Extra point or field goal here through about 4 1/4. It's going to be Henry Richardson on the receiving touchdown. Makes it 16-6 for your visiting Marauders. And yet another passing touchdown. That makes all 5 games this season that we've had a passing touchdown from the old quarterback, Bo Bashirs. Would you like to see from your hometown team? You like when your quarterback's throwing touchdowns. That's a thumbs up. Deep kick by Long's going to get into the end zone, and of course, that's got to be a touchback. So DRS now with their largest deficit of the game. How do they respond? As like we've said, I think a surprise to most that DRS has been putting up a quality fight here. Had the big defensive score, holding up in the inside the 10 a little bit. A little stop and start. Some penalties have hurt McClay. So the big turnover and the penalties have been the story. But McClay able to get a safety and a couple offensive scores here after their early mishap, and that's what's got them with the 16-0 advantage. So scored 6 straight, including a rushing touchdown from backup kicker Drew Lamandola. So it looks like they're back to Bowen here at quarterback. We had a little spell there from Butler, but the youngster Bowen and Hewitt's going to come into the formation late. You have a slot back, Neely Johnson to the left. So 6 into block here for Bowen. They're going to leave Neely Johnson. Bowen, instant pressure. 3 players on him. Flag on the field, and it looks to be back on the offense. Back towards the pocket where Bowen came from. His flag sitting about the 16-yard line. Waiting for the decision. Or not the decision, I guess the announcement, so to speak. Holding on the offense and holding on the defense. So they say cancel them out. So second down here from the 14. Need to get to the 30 to move the chains. So by my math, there's 16 to go. With just over 13 minutes of this ball game played. High snap. Here comes Butler on the sweep. Has an opportunity if he can get the edge. He's out over the 20-yard line. Getting in the vicinity maybe of the 25, though. It's actually going to be more like the 22. Of course, the huddle of orange jerseys there is deceiving on the rush. But some positive yards here for DRS. Has him in a 3rd down and long. 3rd and about 7, but not unmanageable here for the Baby Rattlers. Switch a quarterback once again. They're going to bring in Butler. Going to go with the max protect look here. They're going to bring in the big defensive lineman, Timothy Nelson. He's going to be sidecar left of Bowen. And then you have Zealy Johnson, who's going to motion up into the slot back positioning. High snap. Give to the big defensive lineman, surging forward. He's going to be short, and this is potentially going to give Coach Wise an opportunity to think about going for this one. It's going to be 4th and less than 2 yards to go. As Butler comes back over, so Butler will stay quarterback here for this little sequence. Once again, they're going to have Nelson as the tailback. Over on the edge is Zealy Johnson on the right. Going to go under center. Going to try to go and catch him off guard with the QB sneak. McClay. How about the offseason weight program paying off there? They're able to just grab a hold of Butler and sling him back, and it's a turnover on downs. McClay to take over the football inside the 30. So you had the turnover by the Marauders on the other end, and then DRS turning it over in their own end here. So both defenses flexing a little muscle here in the late first quarter, early second. Offense coming back on here for the Marauders. As the defense looking to try to get in position, and that's going to be timeout number 2 here for DRS. So they're going to have 1 remaining here with about 9.5 to go. And so we'll go ahead and take a timeout with them here on the 4 Quarters online presentation of Maclay Marauder Football.
Oh, hey! So y'all ready for the season? Yeah! Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready.
And we're back here after a quick timeout. And off and rolling. Oh, looking for the double pass. But Richardson's going to tuck and run. Just go ahead and run it all the way from the far side, or the near side to the far side, in for a touchdown. But penalty flag once again on the field, back around the 30-yard line. And it's going to be a penalty on the Marauders. Going to be backed up. Once again, that's been a thorn in the side of McClay so far here. As the penalties wiping off a number of big plays. as they'll be backed up outside of the 40. Ball on the 43-yard line. So you got to enjoy this if you're a fan of DRS. Conversion that much tougher here for McClay. White's going to be the running back. Give is to him. They actually go reverse. Sorry, fake to White. This one's to Brannon. Inside the 25, inside the 20, and diving down to the 15-yard line. And what a rush here by Blake Brannon, the junior wideout. Looks like Coach Sloan and the McClay Marauder coaching staff coming off the bye last week. We're watching a little FSU film. That looked like Makai Danzy going around the end of the reverse. Blake Brannon with a little role play there. Good call by the Marauders. Bootleg to the right, dumped on off to Popple. Going near side, slung down by Nelson. But it'll be inside the 10. It should be enough for the first down. And they're going to say it is. So to set up a first and goal here for the Marauders as we dip down under 9 minutes to play. And in case you're just joining us, you got angry at the FSU game, turned it off after they let up a touchdown. Welcome to the Four Quarters Online presentation of Maclay Marauder football. Of course, on the road, down at the south side on the highest of Tallahassee 7 Hills. And a rushing touchdown for the freshman, Anthony White. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points on the board here for McClay. Wait, want to make sure we're checking for penalty flags, and it's good. Touchdown is successful, so it's going to be a 7-yard rushing touchdown by Anthony White. And the freshman continues to have a fantastic campaign. Is number 22. So here's Wyatt Long. And Bashirs wants to go quick. They're going to go fade route on the far side. Oh, they had the mismatch that you look for. Looking for Ford Brown, but it's going to be an incomplete. McClay tried to catch DRS off guard quickly after the touchdown, but unsuccessful here. And it will stay a 2-score ball game. Of course, with the failed point after attempt, we're still within 16. DRS not out of this one. Scoring update out from the east. Swanee tacks on a touchdown from 10 yards out. Swanee leads Wakulla in a district contest 7-0. Just about halfway through the first. See if we can't get some of these other scores going on. See if our buddies from ScoreStream have it together for us. Long kick once again, going to reach the end zone. Nice blast by Lamandola. And here we go. Area scores. Refresh the old ScoreStream. See what they have going on. Of course, this is a 100% user-generated platform. It does self-regulate, but the opportunity for things to go wayward a little bit. So once again, taking this with a grain of salt until things go final. For the record, a couple other area games going on. Rickards hosting Fort Walton Beach. That one just down the road. Gaston County and the First Academy. Of course, TFA. Coming over here, Columbia St. Augustine. St. Augustine up by 14. Bozeman's playing Port St. Joe. That's a big rural ball game as we have 10 players on the field here for DRS. Late arriving to the party, Jeremiah Turner. He's going to go off on the right-hand side, try to get some additional protection. Looks like McClay's bringing the house. High snap for Bowen. He throws it out. Sprawling effort by Jaden Striggs, but unable to corral the throw there. So it'll be an incomplete back from the 20-yard line. So about 25% of the way through quarter number 2 here. Some other games going on in the area. Rutherford traveling to Mariana. Rutherford still looking for their first win on the season. Lafayette headed down to Wildwood, which is a rematch of last year's playoff game down in the rural classification is Bowen instantly under pressure. Here's Popple trying to get the sack, and he's able to drop him right around the 10-yard line, corrals him. Really well done by Tucker Popple. Great pursuit and able to usher Bowen out of play and force up what would be a very, very tough conversion here on third down, back from about the 12-yard line. Need to get all the way to the 30 to be able to move the chains. So just shy of 20 yards to go here on the pickup. 18 with some quick math here. As we have Butler at quarterback. Neely Johnson's going to be split out to the right-hand side in the slot. He's probably who you're looking to target. As Butler trying to go with a little hard count, see if he can get some free ones. High snap, throws up a moon ball here near side. Intended receiver, Terrell Gear. And it looks like we're going to get a penalty flag over here on the near side. Some contact coming before the football arrived. And it looks like they're going to get pass interference. Wait for the official indication here. Reminder that if it is pass interference, not necessarily an automatic first down. Of course, they'll have to mark off the yardage, which would put them not in a first down scenario, but would put them very close with the yardage to go. Or so I thought, yeah, with the 15-yard penalty. So that was a miscalculation on my math. So it will be enough to move the chains. So apologies. As we try to get a reset here. Snap on the way. His DRS with a new set of downs. Rush up the middle, but fantastic stop there by the Marauders. On the left side of that defensive line. Riso in at the bottom of the pile for McClay. And I believe big linebacker Austin Van Lanningham also in the mix on that left-hand side. So good hold and response for McClay. Ends up being a loss of 4 on the rush. Butler will maintain in the quarterback position as the wide receivers look to get set here. Staying with 5 on the line, slot back Neely Johnson to the left. Jet sweep coming, will be taken. Oh, great surge off the defensive line. Had the contain, just drove his player back. Caden Harrell, a 6'2 defensive end from McClay, scooping up Cameron Nelson as he came across on the jet sweep, or excuse me, Jeremiah Turner on the jet sweep, and there was nowhere to go. Monster loss for McClay. Fantastic effort there by Harrell in the backfield of the Baby Rattlers. So it'll take us over the midway point here of this second quarter. Butler motioning back out. Here they're going to go 4 wide receiver. It looks like it's going to be a false start down here on the near side. Some early movement will get us going. As I back them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the jump, put him back to the this 18-yard line. Another substitution coming on here for DRS. Trustin Walker here. So it's going to be Harrell, Ariso, and Murphy across the front here for McClay. And it's going to be a QB spy here by Brandon, but they want to go deep once again. Try to dial it deep up to Gear, as it was Gear and Hewitt, the speedsters for DRS, surging down this near sideline, but it'll fall incomplete on the deep play there. So I believe that will bring up fourth, if I'm not mistaken, which would usher in the punting unit. Will bring on Adrian Tilford, 6'2" senior, to blast it away. It looks like Richardson's going to be back to return, but I don't think Coach Sloan is buying it. He's in a little bit of a fake formation, anticipating that there may be some shenanigans at play. They will blast. It'll get over midfield, take a couple McClay bounces, and get back basically right on the 50-yard line as we dive under 5 minutes to play here in the quarter. So taking over back on offense will be the Marauders. Here at the near hash of Ken Riley Field, as you can see there. Marauders trying to stay perfect on the season, trying to go 5-0. Of course, victories over Jefferson County, Brookwood, Marietta, and Valwood has them in this fantastic position. Of course, first district game for either team. Of course, it won't be till week 9, so 3 weeks from today before McClay plays NFC. But I believe DRS will play NFC the week before that. So when McClay is facing Chambers Academy back at Frank Shaw Field, that's where we'll be. And then over down on this side of town, NFC will be back at Bragg for that district contest. So McClay taking over. Little pistol look here for Bashir's. First time we've seen that tonight. It's going to be White, the halfback, pitching out to him over the 50. Nice crease on the left side. 30, 25, cutting back against the grain. Monster pickup of 27 there for the tailback White. Surging effort to get it going. And the freshman continues to have a solid campaign for the Marauders. Showing a little tempo like McClay did on their last scoring drive. Want to get up and go. Bashir's looking near side. Corner route looking for Richardson. Couple Rattlers in the area was Hewitt and Bowen. So set up a second down and long here for the Marauders. Down about the 23-yard line. Basically puts you in here for longs range. I think the longest of the season is 40 for him. But he's definitely got the leg to go in the area of 45. If need be. So Popple's going to go as kind of the H-back left. They're going to send Richardson out on a route as well as Popple. So only 5 stand to block. And then Bashir just has to get out of danger. Turns into a very good play. Monster pickup from him as he rushes for about 20 on the play there. Gets him down to a first and goal situation. So great pickup there by Bashir's. Just had nothing going on. Pressure coming in his face, and he had to get out of there as soon as possible. And, of course, nobody playing standby on Bashir's, and he was able to escape and make a great pickup. So now goal-to-goal offense here for McClay. You split out with the 3 wide. Popple in left. Handoff, read option. It's actually going to be a keeper by Bashir's, and he'll get in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for McClay. And no penalty flags on the field. So Bashir's 1 by air and now 1 on the ground for the junior quarterback. Bo Bashirs, for the time being, makes it 28-6. Now 28 unanswered here from McClay. Extra point, Lamandola. Bashirs will be ready with the snap, or the hold, excuse me. Down on the 10, rockets it through. Everything looks good. And add another one for the Marauders. 29-6, your new scoreline after the 4-yard rushing touchdown by Bo Bashirs. So now 4 different players with a score and a safety. Has said a little bit of an awkward 29-6 scoreline. End of the first quarter out in Live Oak, and Swanee still leads Wakulla 7-0. Let's see if our buddies from ScoreStream have anything else going on. Some sleepy games going on here in the capital city. No scores early. Fort Walton Beach and Rickards already rolling into the second quarter, but no one has scored in that ball game. Surprising. Last time they played, or Fort Walton Beach was in town, Rickards put up 48 on the Vikings. This one's going to be able to be fielded. First kickoff here, the DRS is able to run back, and it's Gear trying to get the edge outside the 20. Stiff arm, tries a little shimmy about the 25 and gets on out to just inside the 30. So fantastic run back there by DRS. Gets about 26 on the return. Puts him out with some better field position than if they would have let the touchback go. Once again, try to pop in on some of these area scores. No score being reported for, well, Choctaw and Arnold just kicked off out west. A couple of the powers out there. And just kicking off is W.S. Neal and Bluntstown. Bluntstown, another undefeated team from the area. They're definitely one of the stronger sides that we've seen out here in this young season. The Tigers from Jackson County. Of course, they're on the good side of the timeline. Scrolling on down, Bozeman, Port St. Joe, still zeros. Sneads in Liberty County, also zero. It's the battle for Walton County. It's Walton and South Walton, also zeros. And it'd probably be a better exercise just to say who has a score being reported. High throw, Bowen on the delivery to Triggs, and a nice catch. Gets him out in outside of the 30, excuse me. And that's really all the action that we have going here as far as scores being reported. Either nobody's reporting them or nobody's scoring them. Oh! We'll have to get validation on this, but we're seeing 57-0 Lincoln over Leon right now. That's going to need some double check. Hamilton, 12-0 over Jefferson County. Second down here for DRS as we get back to Bragg Stadium. It's going to be a keeper out with an opportunity over midfield. Loses the football, but Nelson, luckily for him, it bounces out of bounds. But a nice rush there for DRS as they get over midfield. Biggest offensive play of the game. Nice rush coming on this near side. And we've seen number 0, Nelson, making plays both sides of the football now. Offense and defense. The senior going strong here for the Baby Rattlers. Of course, we have a 3-score advantage here for McClay. This could keep DRS hanging around. If they could get a score here, potential touchdown, make things interesting. Here's Neely Johnson. Escaping some early pressure, some desperation rushing. So it was a well-earned 2 yards for Neely Johnson. Of course, final from yesterday, Childs was able to defeat Impact Christian. So Childs bouncing back after the loss to Godby last week. And then, of course, another area game of Thursday in the 4 quarters online coverage range. Bay. All over Pensacola, 47-28. So Bay still with just the 1 loss. They improve, I believe, to 5-1 on the season. Childs, I think, gets back to 3-3. Snap on the way, look on over. Bowen, nice strike. Delivery in traffic there. Jaden Triggs, the receiver on the far side. Good pickup for DRS, starting to get momentum here down the stretch of this first half. Maybe the hurry-up offense, and maybe they found the combination that they were looking for. Substitution on the line. Bowen's going to come trotting back onto the ball game here. Other interesting game in small ball, Graceville and Franklin going on here tonight. No score being reported. Yeah, definitely going to need a double back on that Lincoln score. Four wide receiver look. Bowen checks over to his left. Looks like some pressure coming from McClay. And we have a stoppage. I believe DRS just called their timeout. Nope, not the case. Snap over. Bowen looking deep here in the near side, but here comes the pressure. Ariso with a big hit back outside the 35-yard line. Monster collision with the youngster Bowen. It's going to be a big loss for DRS as he was looking for Terrell Gear, who's kind of been the instigator of the big play. As he gets taken down to the turf, that was a big hit on the youngster there. As we continue to cruise on down inside a minute. Touchdown for Wakulla out to the east. Kicker is injured, so they go for two. Conversion unsuccessful. So Swanee still leads 7-6 in that district contest. Under 30 seconds to go here from Bragg Stadium. District contest here. DRS trying to keep this at a two-score game. Oh, thrown on out to the perimeter. Incomplete, close coverage on that far side. I believe it was Brannon. If I can see the jersey number correctly. Actually, that may be Grayson Stevens, number 8, in coverage. They're battling with Cameron Nelson. They had some jostling of the football. As we get down to 15 seconds here remaining in the quarter. So a couple of plays depending how we go. I believe unofficially that FAMU may be out of timeouts. May have one left, but they've definitely used at least 2 this half. 3 wide receivers. They're going to need a little max protect look as Bowen back out on the field. They want to try to give him some time, but Neely Johnson will split out. Neely Johnson. He's going to go QB keeper, slips in behind the initial rush, and it turns out to be a great gamble. Slips on the turf as he gets inside the 25, but a fantastic play call taken what the defense gives him. You have the surge come in. He waits for the second wave and is able to slip on out the back door there. Nice pickup there by Bowen. And they're giving him an opportunity. You probably have 2 shots. If you want to take both of these in the end zone, you probably have 2 shots at the end zone. Of course, they got to complete one, seeing as it's 4th down. So maybe you try to get the first down, give yourself another shot. The way it's gone, you got to think Terrell Gear, number 10 here on the near sideline, is going to be the target, though. He's been getting a lot of looks. Tight end to the left will stay in to block. Max protect look. They're going to fade up to the far side, and it's going to be intercepted by the Marauders. I believe it's Ford Brown, number 11, with the big takeaway. And that'll leave just 2 seconds on the clock here for McClay to finish off the first half. So backed up deep in their own end zone, so they want to keep an eye, have to have a clean snap here. Don't want any shenanigans, but they want to make sure they take this 3-score lead into the halftime break. Productive offensive outing for McClay. Most of the damage done on the ground. Snap, keeper, Bashir's has some real estate, and that's how the half will expire. He'll slide into the ground, and we'll take it into the first half break. McClay 29, FAMU DRS 6. We're going to step on out, so go grab yourself a drink or maybe a bite to eat, and we'll be back here with the second half in about 15 to 17 minutes. Here, Andrew Jupe, Cody Young, and Chris Attaway on the broadcast here for the Four Quarters Online presentation of Maclay Marauder football. Come right on back.
Oh, hey! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah! Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready for?
Ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. Oh, hey! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah! Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready for?
Ready for the season though?
Yeah! We ready. Yeah! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. Oh, hey! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah! Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah! We ready. Yeah. Oh, hey! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah! Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah! We ready. Yeah! y'all ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. Oh, hey! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. Oh, hey! Are y'all ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. So y'all ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. Oh, hey! So y'all ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. Oh, hey! So y'all ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah. ready for the season? Yeah. Boom. Yeah, we locked in.
Hey.
Y'all ready
Boys
for?
ready for the season, though?
Yeah. We ready. Yeah.
And welcome back here to the Four Quarters Online presentation of Maclay Marauder Football. Thanks for coming aboard with us. Andrew Jupe, Cody Young, Chris Sharpless here on the action. It's I want to say a beautiful night, but I'd be lying to you if I said it. It's been a cloudy, weird, rainy, odd, as the kids would say, or as my cameraman Cody would say, the vibes are off today. But we're playing football. It's been an exciting game. McClay had some big offensive spurts. And so for your hometown Marauders, I think it's been well, but it's kind of been a really stop-and-start affair. A lot of penalties, a couple turnover on downs, couple turnovers. And this is both squads that we're talking about here today as we muddy through this district contest. But, of course, sometimes this is what you get. Here in a district game, you got some poor weather, and we have some conditions and the environment at play here, and sometimes you just get into a scrappy game. And we had a wild start. DRS took the early lead off a 94-yard fumble recovery touchdown. Since then, it's been all Marauders. They've snapped back with 29 unanswered. But you look at the scoreboard, still a three-possession game, so don't sign off the Baby Rattlers yet. They will get the ball to start this second half. Wyatt Long blasted into the end zone, and it will be a touchback here for DRS. They, of course, will be going left to right. On your screen here to start half number 2. In the orange helmets, the orange jerseys, and the white pants. Of course, they got some shiny new helmets, though. They're looking nice under the Friday night lights here tonight. Of course, got a big game versus Alabama State to be played at this stadium tomorrow. Open up SWAC play for the collegiate, I guess you could call it the parent school, as it were, here, Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University, on the highest of Tallahassee's 7 hills. Of course, the other major universities up in Virginia tonight, for whatever reason, as you probably know, and they currently lead Virginia 21-14. But back here at the high school level, it's going to be Bowen back in at quarterback here for DRS. It's going to be a rush coming around. Great surge by Tucker Popple, the linebacker, and here comes the rest of the flow for the Marauders. Ariso in at the bottom of the pile. Ford Brown coming in late, as well as Jace Wright surging forward here for this McClay defense. Of course, McClay's got the Carolina blue helmets on. The old Belichick blue, as it were, with the white uniforms and the white bottoms. McClay having anything but a UNC-type season so far this year. Of course, you McClay Marauder fans know. Great 4-0 campaign so far. DRS on the other side looking to pick up their first win here in district play. But it's been all Marauders here for the second half of that first quarter and the entire second quarter. Bowen out of the shotgun here for DRS. Potentially a jump on the line, but it's going to be a false start here on the offense. So back DRS 5 yards, and they'll be back inside their own 15 here to start the second half of action. So, of course, DRS trying to get in a little flow offensively. They seemed to hit a little bit of a groove when they were going to the 2-minute offense. A couple big plays. Had a nice little drive going before turning it over down in the McClay end zone. But they've been getting some help from the special teams and defense back-to-back weeks with non-offensive touchdowns. Of course, the 94-yarder like we talked about here versus McClay, and then the big one against Wakulla down in Crawfordville, or Medart, down in Wakulla County. So here comes Bowen out of the shotgun, and another jump here on the offense by DRS. And some understandable frustration here for the hometown Baby Rattlers as they're going in the wrong direction here, trying to get out of this 3-score deficit. So it looks like McClay's winding up to bring a little pressure here. Max protect look here for DRS. It looks like your Marauders going to bring the heat. Watch Popple here on the outside. He's going to come McClay, bring in 6. Throw on out, just had to get it out in desperation. If we were playing party rules, it would be an interception by Grayson Stevens, but of course he's out of play, and so it'll go up incomplete here in the early goings of this second half. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and long. Need to get to just over the 30. So it's about 22 yards that DRS has to pick up here. So we've seen him get a couple chunk plays here, often targeting number 10, Terrell Gear. We've seen a couple sneaky runs by the quarterbacks. Bowen had one. Nelson had one. Here in the rotation, looks like Butler's going to be in a quarterback, number 3. That's kind of been the move for DRS in passing situations. We've seen a lot of Butler. He goes to sling it. Oh, it looked like a successful move, but once again, it might be a pre-snap penalty and is on DRS. Another false start. So now inside their own 5, back at the 4-yard line here in the near hash. Butler still in at quarterback, but the yard to gain, just a couple more extra that they have to get now. 26 yards to gain. A 2 pure wide receiver look. 3 route runners. Quick hit around out to the perimeter. Makes the first man miss, surging forward to the 12. So solid pickup of about 8 yards, but it's going to be way short of the first down there. Good little pitch and catch out here on the near side for DRS, but they will look to punt it away as we have Tilford getting back into his punting situation. I believe it was Trustin Walker on the reception there. Here for DRS, but a good tackle on the perimeter by the McClay Marauder defense. Keeping everything in front, doing exactly what you want to do, dropping in, taking care of business. End of the first quarter out west, Pensacola Catholic and Freeport. Close game. Talk about district play kicking off this week. That's another 2A district game. Fumble, Tilford does the turnaround and blast. That's actually pretty impressive given the scenario. A couple DRS rolls, gets it all the way up to midfield. And don't sleep on that after bobbling the snap. In one roundhouse kick motion, Tilford's able to swing around and blast it. And impressively so, getting about 50 yards total from where it's punted to where it's picked up. But, of course, on the score sheet, it'll go as about a 40-yard punt there. But really impressive for Tilford, given the situation there. But McClay, once again, starting out with great field position to get things going right around midfield. An opportunity to add to this lead. And I think they're just looking for some fluidity here for McClay. Been a little stop and start. We've seen some good rushes and the chunk plays are there, but I think if you asked Coach Sloan, he'd be a little frustrated with the turnovers and the penalties here from the first half of action. Having said that, McClay looking like the undefeated team today, taking care of business when they need to, and making up for those mistakes, kind of like what we saw a couple weeks ago up at Valwood. But they've had a solid season so far. Looked really impressive against the area teams they've played in Jefferson County and Marietta. And then a couple of the South Georgia teams that they've played. Brookwood and Valwood, the ones that we've been referencing. So you like what they see here. And the rankings like them as well. Handoff up the middle. Here comes White. Nice gash in the run game. And you know Coach Sloan likes that one. That's going to be a piece of emphasis for McClay out this season was that rushing game. They really emphasize the offseason workout program. Talk about the gains they've been making, and you start to see it pay off. You know, we're used to kind of that air raid offense that Coach Cawley had installed, or really kind of continued on for McClay, really the last decade when you go back to Raymer, and then even before with the offensive coordinator that they had back at the Marauders there. Some prolific passers and everything going on there. Right side of the line, another great surge. He's following White. Popple with another rip inside the 10. Fantastic rush there, but the Red Sea just opened on the right side of the line. So shout out to the McClay blockers over on that side, led by Andrew Geyer, the junior. And Ariso. Here comes another rush up the middle. And it'll be inside the 5 here for the McClay Marauders. So Wakulla takes the lead, a couple touchdowns over Swanee. They're going for 2-point conversions with the injury to the kicker. 22-14, they lead out in Live Oak. Back here in Tallahassee, it's going to be a handoff to White up the middle. DRS standing up tall. Tilford, the do-everything man here for DRS. Punter, tight end, defensive lineman. He's a busy man on Friday nights. So set up a 3rd down and goal from just outside the 3-yard line. So you wonder if this is 4-down territory for McClay if they're unable to get it here. In close, they've kept it on the ground almost any time that they've gotten in close. So it makes you wonder if they've been scouting themselves and want to try to go a little contrarian here. They're going to go up the middle. Here comes the surge. White spins out of 2 tackles. Reinforcements coming from DRS. Good push by White, but it's not going to be enough. Stopped up short, so it's going to bring up decision time for first-year head coach Ari Sloan for the McClay Marauders. What you going to do, Coach? What you got going on, Coach? Just outside the 1, or sorry, inside the 1. Man, we're about, 1 foot out? Good shot by our cameraman there. There it is, Cody. Nice shot. Love that. Close conversion. Leave offense on the field. White's the tailback. They've got the slot back. Popple to the right. 3 wide receiver look. Just the 5 linemen. QB keeper. Bo Bashirs with his best Jalen Hurts impression in from the 1-yard rush right down Main Street. And McClay adds 6 more. 35-6 after Bashir's his 2nd rushing touchdown and 3rd overall touchdown of the evening. So for the moment, it's 35, extra point pending. Wyatt Long, of course, 20-yard extra point on the way. Bashir's to hold. Oh, good jump by DRS. Extra point up, and extra point is good as Long remains perfect in the 2025 campaign. So it's a 30-point margin here for the McClay Marauders on the road, though the road not too long from Tallahassee's north side down to the south side. 5:49 to play here in the 3rd frame of action. And now we start to get into the conversation of potentially running clock conversation as we're within shouting distance here for this competition. So to keep an eye on that, of course. There's kickoff pending here for Long. Right-footed blast here from the 40. Tracking back, wants to try to play this one. Oh, Gear he wants an opportunity, but of course, by rule, that's touchback, young man. Of course, a solid special teams for McClay. I can understand the frustration. He's only had one opportunity to run it back. I think that's the 6th kickoff by McClay. Only had a shot at one. Team that likes to take some opportunities outside the offense. I'm with you, Mr. Gear. Let's check back in. Still no update on that potential fake news coming out of that Lincoln-Leon score. Rickards up 8-0. Low-scoring game against Fort Walton Beach. Blountstown gets a couple scores on the board. 16-0 over W.S. Neal. St. Augustine, a little bit of a runaway now versus Columbia. No score being reported. Could be a good defensive game out there. Holmes County and Chipley both playing great defense. That's a really good rural game out there tonight. I believe those two teams are a combined 7-2, 8-2, I believe. And here comes the rush. Able to pitch it out somehow, gets out of danger, breaks the tackle, and here comes Timothy Nelson down the near sideline, tiptoes the sideline. He's a man that's on an absolute mission. He can't be brought down until Grayson Stevens takes him down. It was an absolute collapse of the play. The McClay defensive line completely envelopes the quarterback. He slings it out underhand, Pat Mahomes style, gets it to Nelson, somehow escapes down the near sideline, hits the corner, tiptoes the sideline about the 40 on the tightrope, makes it happen, shakes some more tackles, and if it wasn't for the old shoestrings there and Grayson Stevens' defensive tackle, that might have been a touchdown. But that's some wild high school football going on there. Butler looks to be a little shaken up. Number 3 here for the Baby Rattlers, which you'd never like to see. So we'll keep an eye on him, number 3, down here on this near sideline. So Bowen and the boys with a new flip of the first down. Going to go with a 4 wide receiver look. Sets up the motion here to his left-hand side. Handoff, jet sweep, trying to hit the edge. Tucker Popple, fantastic position. And wrap up of the ball carrier, Darrell Hewitt. And Hewitt is a speedster. You have to get him before he can get into full stride. He's able to be wrapped up in the backfield, so good pursuit there by McClay. And there's conversation going on right around the 40-yard line as Abram Wildrick, the star lineman for McClay, and Manny Ariso are in the mix there of that conversation. Loss of 2 on the play. So it's going to bring up second down at about 12. From the 38, need to get to the 26. And a stoppage of play here by the refs. And timeout for the Rattlers. Here, I want to try to get the offense synced up. I believe that's the first charge timeout of this second half. Of course, as we reshuffle the deck, let's see if we can get some more area scores that we got going for a little bit. Of course, this is courtesy of our friends from Score Stream. Rolling down. Rickards still 8-0.5. Blountstown still looking good, 16-0. Not many other scores being reported here as we scroll on down. Pensacola Catholic 21-10 lead over Freeport. Godby Baker County out in Glen St. Mary tied up at 10-10. That's another district contest. That's the other half of that Wakulla Swanee district. And we're back ready to go. playing here. Bowen, quick hitter out to the perimeter, looking to be wrapped up, little shoestring tackle. There's Popple. Frequent flyer at the bottom of the pile is Tucker Popple, getting some help by Ford Brown, Henry Richardson, and then Holt and Tony and the rest of the squad coming up. Last we checked, it was 7-7, the First Academy of Gadsden County. So we'll try to keep an eye on that. Hamilton, 18-0 over Jefferson County. Battle of the county schools. Lafayette in the revenge game against Wildwood. They lead by 20, 27-7. Scrolling on down, looks like nobody else in our coverage range. Many scores to be reported there. As we dip under 3 minutes to play here from Bragg. 11 yards to gain for DRS. Wants to go deep. A moon ball down the far sideline. Intercepted by McClay. Nobody on the other far side. It's really going to be Bowen, the only one with Nelson that can catch him. Great cutback. And McClay, it's going to be about an 85-yard pick six for the Marauders. Credit that to Jace Wright, the 5'10 junior, with the pick and the run back. Turned into a track game there as McClay breaks into the 40s. And now a 36-point advantage with the extra point pending. So Jace Wright, the credit there. Had a great season playing defensively. Gonna get on the scoreboard here for the season with the old pick six. Wide long getting set up. A little change in the protection by McClay. Oh, it's blocked. Nelson blocks the extra point. That's the first failed kick by Long all season. Strong rush there by DRS. 36 points still our margin, so we'll keep it at 42 with 6 touchdowns here for McClay. If you're just joining us, we had a successful drive by McClay. Got all the way down to the DRS 2-yard line. Fumbled the snap. Fumbled the handoff. DRS starts the game. 94-yard fumble recovery touchdown. They led 6-0. Then a response from Lamandola on the McClay drive. Got them up 7-6 as he rushed in for a touchdown. And it was a safety after McClay pinned DRS deep. As that one, for another instance, goes out into the end zone. So that made the game 9-6. Then it was a Henry Richardson touchdown reception, an Anthony White touchdown rush, a Bo Bashir's rushing touchdown. The old quarterback keeper had us at a 29-6 score at the halftime break. After that, in this third quarter, we've seen 9+ minutes of that. Both touchdowns by way of McClay. Bo Bashir's with a run yard scamper. And then what you just saw, the Jace Wright interception returned for a touchdown. So DRS coming back onto the field, to try to get a response on offense. Going to go 4 wide receivers, see if they can't pick it up in the passing game, and there's Gear. And he's been the big play threat and does so again. And that's almost all Yak, too. Great pickup after the catch. And then he adds about 25 yards himself with the run. And that's a strong play there. Here for DRS, big chunk play. One of the biggest of the day for them. And Gear has been the target of many of those plays. So Butler's going to stay in at quarterback here. Four wide receiver look. Neely Johnson's going to motion out here for some protection. Slot back left. Four wide receivers from the far hash. First down just outside of midfield. Butler trying to escape the pressure. Slung down. Manny Ariso on the rush. Secondary help coming from Caden Harrell. And a good drop here for the Marauders. Able to force back and set up a monster loss of, looks like a 9-yard loss on the sack, all the way back to the 37-yard line on the DRS side of the field. Of course, they need to get to the McClay 44 to move the chains. So that's a hefty 19-yard conversion pending. Second down for the Rattlers. Butler in at quarterback. The 6-foot senior. Motion coming here. High snap. Give out, and there's a crease in the line of the right-hand side, but quickly erased there by Manny Ariso. Pressure coming there from Holt and Toey. But it was Darrell Hewitt. They're definitely making a concerted effort, jet sweeps, and he definitely got some passing routes looking for Hewitt, number 6. He's a speedster. Definitely been a point of emphasis here from DRS, but unable to make that big connection, at least offensively. But regardless, you can't take that defensive touchdown away from him. He was the man that scooped it up and ran it back 94 yards as we creep towards the end of quarter number 3. If DRS wants to push the issue, they can get a snap off. But it doesn't look like they will, as that will be 3 frames in the book of our prescribed 4. So we'll look to reset as we go to quarter number 4 here from Bragg Stadium. (42-6) score line here. Let's try to check out some of those area scores. See what we have going on here. As we don't want to quite look forward to next week for both of these squads, but they will be out of district play. Still showing 8-0 here for Rickards. Blountstown 16. Columbia having a tough go versus St. Augustine, as basically everybody has the last 2 or 3 years. Down by 21 out in St. Augustine. Choctaw leads Arnold 13-0. Godby takes the advantage over Baker County. They added a touchdown. They lead 17-10. No score being reported in the Battle of the Walton. Pensacola Catholic up 21-10 over Freeport. That's the majority of scores we have here. We'll have to hit the socials for some of these other scores. Last we heard, Wakulla up by 8 on Swanee. Still haven't been able to check that Lincoln score. No score being reported on Max Preps, and it looks like they've wiped the score from ScoreStream. So who knows what's going on there in that rivalry game. Pressure coming on the quarterback there. Good pursuit by that McClay defensive line. Looks like Ariso was in on the mix, as he typically is. Off the left side of that line, also involved was Justin Murphy, the 6-foot senior, wearing number 56. Of course, they make up 2/3 of that defensive line. That left-hand side has been going off tonight. So switch of personnel here for DRS. This is 4th down, and Telford and the gang will come on out for the punt. Back deep to receive here for McClay's Richardson. So typically we've seen Brannon returning a lot of punts, but Richardson taking the lead on tonight's returns at least. So have a low snap, handled well by Telford. Sidewinder kick's going to bounce around the 22. Richardson, if he wants, has a chance to return it. Picks up after fumbling it initially. Slips through 1 tackle. Runs into his blocker. And 2 Rattlers drag him down. Butler and Hewitt making the drop. as Richardson gets it right about to where it bounced off that second bounce there, back at the 21-yard line, where McClay will take over. And it may be, as I'm trying to recall, if they've had worse starting field position. Nothing coming to memory on what we have there. Regardless, they'll have just about the whole length of the field rolling here, as we, of course, should get a quick fourth quarter here, as McClay has broken the threshold of the mercy rule. Of course, 35 plus. Once that is eclipsed, the clock keeps on rolling. So typically that lends itself to a speedy resolution. Rush on out here by Lamondola, who has been getting some reps in the tailback position. So, of course, him, Popple, and White getting the rushes out here today. And you can tell Coach Sloan's trying to have McClay get some momentum back after being on the bye last week, as the starters are still in here as we get into this running clock era. There's a rush once again from Lamondola. Pickup of about 3, gets out to the 30 with forward progress, but still going to be a yard short of the action to go. Dip under 9 minutes to play here. District 1A competition. It's a slip on out going for Brannon. It's going to be a big loss here for the Marauders. In the wrong direction. Push them back to about the 26-yard line, so it looks like they'll punt it away. That may be the first McClay punt of the evening. They had the turnover on downs, had the fumble, but I do not believe we've seen the punting unit here tonight. Of course, they could do a fake too, because don't forget that Bashirs is also the quarterback and the punter. So could very easily pull the rug out on DRS, and here we go. Bashirs, keeper. He's going to be short. Looks like it, at least. Right about to the 30-yard line. He needed the full 31 to get there. So it looks like a DRS defense has come up with another turnover on downs, and it is. They'll start at the 30-yard line. So credit for DRS doing just enough to take care of business. I believe this is the largest spread that McClay has had. Second largest, I apologize. Second largest lead on an opponent. They had a 38-point lead on Brookwood, but of course that final, Brookwood got a second half touchdown, which made the difference just 31 to finish. So technically not the largest lead of the season here for McClay, but all to say that they've been in control here tonight basically ever since their second offensive, or really it felt like that after the safety. DRS was still giving a little feedback, but that second touchdown, which got it to a 10-point lead, has had McClay feeling pretty comfortable, though. Have had some penalties to go with it, but impressive performance on both sides of the ball here for the Marauders, who were trending really well towards that 5-0 start. Then you start to look down at the schedule. You've got an interesting one coming up next week. The Big Dogs, Taylor County, talking about undefeated teams, Taylor County coming to town for the Marauders. And that Taylor County team is mean. They are 100% legit. Taking down Wakulla already this season. Taylor County is going to be dangerous. Bez Glanton, probably one of the most slept-on players here in the Big Bend. The dual-threat quarterback. He's nasty. Taking down Fort White and Wakulla this season. Of course, and Taylor County coming off the bye week. Resting up for what looks like two undefeated teams in the capital city. We'll have that matchup here on Four Quarters Online. Handoff to Neely Johnson. Finds a little crease, coming back towards the middle, inside the hash marks, dragging defenders to the 10-yard line. Good recovery there by the third level of that defense by McClay, able to make the wrap. Hunter Shaheen, and of course, Jace Wright, the man with the pick six. As we're over halfway finished with this fourth quarter. And just as we say that, we have a injury stoppage. Looks to be Neely Johnson once again. Of course, got dinged up in that first quarter, but was able to come back into the game. But slow to get up here as training staff once again in the mix. As we see a picture of the city. Have the lights on there in the background. You can see a large part of FAMU campus there, pointing towards Tallahassee's, I guess, southeast side, depending on how you like to look at things. A lot of people say anything below Gain Street's the south side. So if that's the case, there's Tallahassee southeast with some campus there. With the pharmaceutical building in the background. Maybe some glaring lights from Cascades. Just up the road, there's a big concert going on at the Tucker Center. Of course, the big conference game from FAMU going on tomorrow. So some stuff still going on here in the capital city. Of course, the other university football team in town is playing tonight. Last I checked, it was 21-all with the University of Virginia. The Cavaliers, as FSU gets into conference play. First ACC matchup. But here's DRS with an opportunity to get something going here late. Down the stretch here, this ball game, this would be huge for them. Nelson off the end around, diving forward inside the 5. Good pickup there for DRS. As they're trying to put together a ball game where they've had 2 or more scores for, I believe, just the second time this season. Going back to that Cottondale game was the only other contest in which they've done so. It's in the average in 1-score game. 5 scores on the season through 5 games. Then, of course, 4 through 4. And the one here tonight, lowering the shoulder, and Nelson over for 6. So a touchdown off the rush here. Timothy Nelson able to cash it in for FAMU DRS. Gets it to 12 on the score line. And cuts the lead to 30. Of course, with the rules here in the state, we're going to stay with the running clock. Once you break the threshold, you can't unbreak the threshold. It's not a yo-yo situation here. So we'll continue to run. DRS going for 2. Bowen back in the game. Sets up the formation. 2 wide receivers. Going to try to go to a similar play that got him the touchdown, and conversion is successful. As Nelson's able to get in off the rush, so he does it twice. Twice as nice here for Nelson. After the about 4-yard rushing TD, number 0 for DRS cashes in the conversion, so a 42-14. Which reminds me of that 2021 scoreline between Fort Walton Beach and Rickards. Speaking of, we can see if we get an update of that game going on. Score outdated, no updates there. Choctaw up 19-0 at the halftime break over Arnold. Arnold, one of the high-profile teams here in the area. See if we can get any updates from the socials of what's going on in your area. So Gadsden was in a close game against the First Academy, but no updates coming out from Havana. Gadsden, a rare home game. I believe they only had 3 on the schedule this year, which is tough for a 10-game slate. Kickoff coming here for DRS. There seems to be some confusion on the lineup at the kickoff here as we get the ball into the tee. Maybe they're trying to get things going. Looks like Butler's getting ready for an onside kick here. Get the old hands team out there. Got to go 10 yards. They'll go directional kick over to the far side. It's going to be picked up after rolling to a stop at the 25-yard line. About 4 yards more from Richardson. Gets him just inside the 30. As we, like a runaway train, are getting close. By the time this offensive play gets set up, we'll basically be at a minute to go. McClay offense coming onto the field. Let's see if we have any personnel change. Oh, yeah. Personnel change almost top to bottom here for McClay. Caleb McQuaig going to come in at a quarterback, in a tailback. It's going to be Malani Word, number 32. Receivers all change. Line all change. Yeah, it looks like a full fresh 11 here for the Marauders. High snap. Give to Word on the left-hand side. Good pickup by him. He'll get on the other side of the 30. Well, it looked like it was a more lengthy pickup than that. Just 2 on the pickup. Cole Van Lanningham, the freshman, in as well. In at wide receiver, Connor Holmes, freshman, wearing 19. Over here on the near side, another freshman, Brett Lee, wearing number 17. So the youth movement in full force here for McClay. Get the youngsters some playtime late. Word here, trying to hit the perimeter, breaks off initial contact, slides by. Some smooth moves from Word on the rush. Good pickup there. Malani Word on the rush, and that will take us to the finale. Of course, the first district contest here in 1A for both of these teams. McClay taking care of business effectively. We'll go to 5-0. You can see there. DRS will fall to 0-5. And we'll go ahead and put a bow on this one if we can get some other area scores. Otherwise, no need to really belabor the post game here tonight, as McClay dominates here at Bragg Stadium. But some spotlights for DRS, some things they can definitely take forward. Bluntstown leads WS Neal 26-0. Rickards still 8-0 being reported. Choctaw 19-0 at halftime. A lot of scores not updated. Pensacola adds another one. Pensacola Catholic, I should say. 28-10 over Freeport. Godby still holding on 17-10. Wakulla leads 22-17. No score in South Walton. Hamilton in the Battle of the Eastern Counties leads Jefferson 18-0. Cottondale and Weewa in a dogfight 12-10 right now. Out to our southwest. Scores from yesterday, Childs a big winner. And then, of course, Bay a big winner over Pensacola. And so that's all that we wrote as they get the huddle going. We're waiting for Coach Sloan to come jump into the pile, and here he goes. Shoom! For the 5th time this season, Coach Sloan a big winner. So, fun contest out here on a Friday night. high school football on a Friday. Tomorrow we'll have college football on a Saturday, as it should be done around here. What are you doing, FSU? McClay, big winners. Anything we want to add here? Or should we put a bow on this one? All right, for Andrew Jupe, Cody Young, and Caleb Gross, this has been the Four Quarters Online presentation of McClay Marauder Football. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in with us if you decided to do so, and all the best. Hey, next week we'll be back, the big show, 5-0 McClay, 5-0 Taylor County, going at it. We'll be back at Frank Shaw Field, so we won't be in the big house, but it will be a little more of the intimate feel here today. But the good news is Four Quarters Online's got you covered. So come right on back. For Andrew Duke, Cody Young, and the rest of the gang here, have a great